talk more about that, we're joined by Jason Brodsky. He's the Policy Director at United Against a Nuclear Iran. Great to have you with us, Jason. So it's not the first time, is it, that Washington has tried to stop Iran from providing Russia with these military drones. Will these latest sanctions make any difference in your view?
It's great to be with you, Laura. I think that the sanctions that were levied yesterday are really a continuation of this campaign. The entities that were listed by the Department of Commerce, most of them had already been listed or sanctioned by the Department of the Treasury. So this is just a tightening of the U.S. sanctions architecture, particularly export controls and those equities that the Department of Commerce oversees. But on their own, they will not further deter the Iranian system from providing Russia with lethal weaponry. The United States, the international community is going to have to start increasing the pain on Iranian soil. And unless and until they do that, that is not going to really change the calculation in Tehran as to whether to arm Russia in Ukraine.
Jason, what about the moves I mentioned by Iran to link up its banking system with Russia? We know that the two countries are subject to harsh financial sanctions right now. Will this help them to get around those sanctions?
Sure. I think that Russia is now going to be basically using Iran as a sanctions evasion hub and vice versa. This is something that really fits into Iran's supreme leader's worldview of looking east. He views the international community and the international scene right now as an emerging multipolar world order. And this kind of framework fits into that dynamic. So this is also consistent with his vision of building a resistance economy for the Islamic Republic to neutralize sanctions. And that is what is in his mind in terms of linking Russia with Iran in this banking network.
If I could ask you to turn your attention to Azerbaijan, because I think it very much fits in with the regional picture here. There's been dozens more arrests in Azerbaijan in what the government there is calling a crackdown on Iranian espionage. This, of course, following that attack on the Azeri embassy in Tehran. Now, the Iranian media says that this is just further evidence that Baku is becoming a Zionist puppet. Do you think Tehran is rattled by Israel's relations with Azerbaijan?
Yes, I think Tehran is very rattled and threatened by it. There's a long history of fraught relations between the Islamic Republic and Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan has a history of the Islamic Republic sponsoring terrorist plots in its country against Israeli diplomats. So these latest arrests should be viewed in that context of the Iranian regime using cultural centers and other kinds of on their face benign centers, but these entities have a more nefarious hidden agenda, and I think the Azerbaijani authorities are seizing on that, and that should be applauded.
So, of course, additional sanctions, more pressure on Iran just days after that military strike on an Iranian military site in the city of Isfahan. Are you linking all of this together?
Well, I think that the strike in Isfahan does send a message to the Iranian leadership, and that is that there are going to be costs for the advancement of its drone, missile, and potentially nuclear programs. I think it also sends an important and a useful message with respect to Ukraine. Last night, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu told CNN, or hinted at it, that Israel is stopping Iran's weapon production efforts, and that does have a relation to Iran's ability to arm Russia for use against Ukraine. And so that is a very important message, and I think it should be welcomed by the United States and its European allies.
Do you think the Europeans are still clinging on to hopes of reviving the JCPOA at this stage?
The nostalgia is detached from the sunset schedule and the changed geopolitical, political, and technical reality as to Iran's nuclear program. I think we need to move on from this deal. It has been a long-term stranglehold over and paralysis of the international community's ability to hold the Iranian regime accountable. And it's time that we act like it's 2023 and not 2015.
All right, Jason, thank you very much indeed. Jason Brodsky there at United Against a Nuclear Iran.